kind of do all of the other things that need to be done on the companion and the article and get them into a state where we're happy with all of the bits that don't deal directly with the results of the survey. And then when the survey results come in, we can have a good look at those and then weave them into both the article and the companion. So I suppose what I mean is getting the companion and the article to the sort of the right stage where the only thing left to do, more or less, is the consensus and the results from the survey.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so the survey itself, then, Rabia has done a brilliant job and put it into a Google survey format. And I got a quick crash test of it yesterday, and Rabia's done some updates from that, and they're basically just typos and stuff. So the questions and being able to answer the questions, I think are okay now. So when Rabia gets back, we could perhaps just have a quick look through to make sure we haven't really missed anything.
Okay. And as to the companion, what sections need revamping or rewriting or whatever?
Well, I think it's the second section, I think, which is to do with the mentoring each other phase. And what we said was that we would include, our reflections or as many reflections as we have. So, Rabia and myself, we've now finished our synthesized reflection. So it's about 5 or 6 pages or so. So we can have a look at that. Anne has done one about her and Ismail. Janet, of course, has done one, and it's an article in the Teacher Trainer, isn't it? And I know Sylvia's and Elizabeth, you've also done one, haven't you, as it relates to
No, not
Jerusalem?
me, because I was not involved in any
Oh, okay.
mentoring. So I think it was Sylvia's, the two Sylvias.
Two Sylvias. Okay then. So that's four, and I think that I don't know, but I think they're really interesting. I think, and I really enjoyed doing the sort of writing them up and looking back at our discussions and stuff. So I think, it would be good, wouldn't it, to have 10 or something? But I think, you know, four will give a very good flavour, I think, of what we discovered and how it changed our understanding, etc.
And maybe we could contact, for example, Nelson. I can write to him directly, say, "Hey, Nelson, remember you were my mentor? Would you like to?" I mean, I can send him all the material we have been using together, and maybe he can get bits and pieces and produce something as well.
Sharon can
I
do that
think
also. Sharon can do, like, we worked for 2, 3 months together, not directly like session wise, but we did work together. I mentored her. She can also write something.
Because
okay then. So will you contact Shirin then? That'd be okay.
And
Yeah.
tell her what exactly I joined in the middle of your conversation.
tell her that we are finishing section 2 and that we would need, we were aiming at 10 testimonies and we have 4. So it would be nice to have a few more. And Nelson was my mentor and he could write as well.
And
Sharon would, I'll ask Sharon, she would write. And can I share a sample with her, the one that we worked on, or just give her a sketch?
Can you
I,
share it now? And so that
well, let's do that. Let's have a look together because we had a look at Anne's last time. So let's just have a look at. We can have a look at the one that we've just done for me and Rabia, and from that we can decide on any kind of instructions for Nelson and for Sharon. And I think Nelson would be very happy to do this because he was extreme. He was very energized, wasn't he? I remember from the experience.
yeah. Yes.
And if you can also ask Shirin to make sure that Turkey play better football than they've played so far, because they're one of my teams in the World Cup. 2-0
Do you
to
want me to share?
Australia. Hmm?
Do you want me to share the
Yes.
like right now or share the link? What do you want me to do?
Can you show us the model? I mean, like what you, okay, there. I am allowing you to share.
Okay. Can you see it? Can I see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So first, the context.
Yes. And this is the second draft. The first draft was without the context. So, and now we have modified it. Do you want to read it or just scroll through it?
Or just see how we organized it so that we can follow more or less the same organization. Okay, the structure, organization, activities. And okay.
Then it's John's reflections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just to say, that's in the first person, isn't it? Is that okay now?
I have also, because this is our reflection,
Yeah, okay.
we're writing it, yes. Then it's my reflections.
Okay.
I wrote because I was mentored by John and I was mentoring Shirin. So I've written it as a dual impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also had a reflection as a mentor and as a mentee.
Yeah, so I think that point there, that I don't know whether we've said something about it, because about including reflection. In my case, that when I was writing this, I was thinking about when Janet was mentoring me as well. So some of the things in there, although the focus is on my mentoring experience, it also includes in an implicit way some of the things that occurred to me as a mentee as well. So I think it's worth making that point, especially if you've done that as well, Sylvia.
Yeah, I have one text about, well, what we did together with Sylvia on Jerusa's experience, and then another text as a mentee, my experience as a mentee. So I'm trying to imagine what this section 2 will be like.
So we are going to have different kinds of reflections because some of you have probably only mentored or you were, let's say you were a mentee, and some others had both roles. So probably we should probably think whether in this second section we have first of all the cases of the ones who were mentors, for example, then all the cases of the ones who were only mentees, and then the cases where the people had two roles, because if you had two roles, the impact was different. So as not to mix up the experiences, and we can guide the reader and have like an organization. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, Elizabeth. It's a really, really good point, actually. And I suppose the question is, what do we want to do? Do we want to have something which is standard in the sense so that when the reader comes to, they look at, for example, they look at one particular case study and they know that it's from the perspective of
Of the
the
mentor,
of the mentor, let's say,
for example.
or that it's informed by the experience of the writer who is both a mentor and a mentee. So I think the question is, do we want, will having it standardized, either separate or together, will that help the reader to understand more?
Because I think that the reader, I'm trying to put in the shoes of a reader who is like reading about this for the first time. And so reading about the role of the mentor in one case and then in another, you begin to build a background from the point of view of the mentor. Whereas if we mix up the cases, I think that it might be like confusing to the reader. So that you give the reader this opportunity to build a background from case to case. And then what happens in the case of the mentee, again, building background, and then this dual relationship, so that after having built background on what it is like from experience to be a mentor and to be a mentee, then you have the dual cases. It just crossed my mind that it might help.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how I feel about it, I suppose.
We have to think about it, I think. We have to give it some thoughts.
I think it's got to be clear, hasn't it? I mean, what I think is interesting from writing the reflection is that, as I was saying, that my experience of working with Rabia and working with Janet, I couldn't really, when it came to it, separate out which of those two experiences had changed what I felt about mentoring.
Oh, I see.
So it's actually it will be quite difficult to say, all right, and so as a mentor,
okay,
this has changed now, and as a mentee, this has changed now. I think I wouldn't be particularly clear, but I think your point is a really, really good one, and I think what we need to do is to gloss either at the beginning of this section and say, so the following case studies look at mentoring from a mentor perspective and a mentee experience and represent some sort of sum of the understanding from both those experiences.
Okay. Okay.
We can do that.
That's a good point.
Or we can just gloss, individual case studies and say, well, this case study, I've put it into two, and this is, from the perspective of a mentor, and this one is from the perspective of a mentee. So as long as we gloss it and it's clear,
okay,
the reader will that what you're saying, that building understanding, especially I think, is if you're reading the companion in order to become a better mentor, which I imagine, who would read a book in order to become a better mentee? Well, probably nobody.
okay.
Even though by reading the book you can become a better mentee.
You're right.
So we are, I suppose, privileging information that will help mentors be better at their jobs and their roles, I suppose. So that does need to stand out, doesn't it? So maybe doing it separately,
okay. Yeah,
two perspectives is quite helpful.
Yes,
Sylvia, you've got your hand up for offside, or what was that?
No, yeah, just a comment on that. It is very unusual that someone is a mentor and a mentee at the same time. So I understand Elizabeth's comment that it might be confusing. On the other hand, what you said also resonates, John, because if the intended reader is someone who wants to become a mentor for the first time or a better mentor, I think that reading about mentees' reflections also helps them, because you become a better mentor by becoming aware of what happens to the other end of this relationship in a way. So I think both are useful, and I think that probably organizing them as case studies with a description of how it went and the context and everything, which is common to the mentor and the mentee, and then separating the reflections, then that might somehow round off the same case and yet have the two perspectives whenever we can get the two perspectives, because sometimes we can't. For example, we should be writing to Jerusa, I was thinking, and see if she can share her contributions. But I think that that might be helpful.
Yes, I was thinking, for example, of how Sylvia should write her contributions, because her contributions in relation to her role as a mentee would go in Nelson's case study, whereas Jerusa's one would go as a mentor. I mean, not to put the two reflections together as belonging to Sylvia, but rather to separate them depending on the case study.
I think that organizing them in terms of case is the neater option, at least in my view, because then you get the context for each, and that would somehow help the reader to understand what was going on in that particular case, and then have a look at their reflections.
So case study number 1, for instance, how to design workshops as a teacher educator, for example. So is that what you mean? Case studies according to the need, or case studies according to
the model,
to the people,
to the people?
Well, I think what Sylvia L was saying was case study according to the role, wasn't she? Either mentor or mentee. That's what I understood. Wasn't that what you were saying, Sylvia? No?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was just, for example, in our case with Jerusa, I would say the case would be case number 1, mentoring Jerusa. So the context, the activities, etc., more or less objectively, if such a thing is possible. And then our reflections as mentors, and if possible, trying to get a Jerusa's reflection as mentee. Then case number 2, mentoring somebody else, and then you get the reflection of the mentor and the mentee following the context and the activities, the way Rabia was presenting yours.
Perfect. That would suit me. And I think, sorry, Rabia, and I think it would talk specifically to one of the points that Janet made some time ago about making sure that we do have the mentee perspective in all of this. You know, one of the points we're trying to make about in our definition of mentoring, isn't it, that it's a reciprocal learning relationship. So I think that it's you know, that foregrounding it in the way that you've described, Sylvia, in the way that we have done. And in addition, what we have done is we took a synthesis. So we, you know, Rabia wrote her reflections, I wrote my reflections, and then we looked at the content of both and thought, okay, so that was the same. So there's some themes here that have come out that are both that you know, are reflected in both of our perspectives. So, and I think also, just one last thing, I think the way that you just talked about it, Sylvia, I think would make a very nice introduction to this section.
So first the context, then what the mentor says, then what the mentee says, and then the synthesis. Would that be the organization?
That's how we did. First, we wrote it independently, and we came to our mentoring meeting. We discussed, we took time to read each other's reflections, and then we thought, okay, I connect with this and I connect with this. And then we summarized in the things that we both felt while train. And then I think I changed his mind about things as well. You know, because I thought, no, you did that. You maybe your reflection is because I didn't say that enough, or you didn't feel that, but that's how it was. So we changed a little bit of reflections also, because John thought that he was not very qualified to, or maybe not very much experienced in giving me feedback on how to write expression of interest. And I was like, because you have been in the position to see and sift through so many, I would believe that we had a discussion on, does the mentor need to be experienced to be a mentor or not? And from there, I was like, that it's very important for the mentee to see that you are experienced, for the mentee to believe that you have sufficient experience to build that trust in you, that you can help them. So then we changed what we thought also. So it's not just one writing and whatever is written. We met, we discussed, and then in the previous meeting, we saw what Anne wrote. And then the third time, I think we changed it also. So it's not just one instance, us writing. We actually did discuss and synthesize, and then we re-synthesize it also. So it happened over stages and time.
Okay, and then there's in the one that me and Rabbi had done, there's a bit of kind of meta context as well, which is about how we organized
Yes.
how we actually organized the whole thing, how it came about that Sylvia was mentoring Jerusa and etc. So there's some meta context that can go into a general introduction.
Yeah.
And then that can be followed by picking up the points that Sylvia L was making about the benefit, what's going on here exactly, whose perspective is it, that kind of thing. So to make, to sort of make sure that it's clear in the introduction that, whatever else happens, the reader is going to get reflections from a mentor perspective, reflections on being a mentee, to make it clear in the introduction that that's what's coming, I suppose. And I think we can have a look at what when we've got sort of 5 or 6 of them lined up, we can have a look at if that's working from, as Elizabeth says, from the perspective of what makes sense for a reader.
Yes, it will help the reader to approach the case studies with to approach case studies that have a certain structure, a similar structure. That's why I insist a lot on the structure. I'm thinking of the reader, and for us writers, it's also easier if we all know that we start by the context, and then we move on to the mentor's perspective, and then the mentee's perspective, and then this summary of the reflections or whatever you want to suggest.
I think so, and I think it's clearly the case. However structured you are as a person or not, I think that it's clearly, when you, I think generally speaking, a reader goes, all right, so I've read that, and I've read the first one, I've got some expectations now about how the second one is going to read, and I can hang my learning on that sort of expectation about what's coming next. And I think it's probably the case, isn't it? As if you hit somebody in the same section with something that's completely different, they're going to be going, "What? I don't understand. What's this about? It doesn't fit here." So yeah, I think so. We do need, I think, to make sure it's structured and explained. There was one other thing as well that we talked about some time ago about including in the companion that's related to the case studies. Are any generic mentoring activities? So I'm not
Didn't I
any.
include something there? Because I think I did. I can't remember, but I think I did all my homework before I left. When you talk about these generic activities, I can't remember now, but
I think you probably did, yeah. And I think that I think it's kind of helping to answer the question, isn't it? From a very practical point of view, I want to be a mentor, or I want to be a better mentor. So, how do I create an open and trusting relationship? How do I find out exactly what the needs of the mentor are? You know, anything that cuts across all contexts. That it seems to me that you've got to understand the needs. It seems to me that you've got to create a non-judgmental environment. It seems to me you've got to give feedback. These are this part of the survey, in a way, that these things are kind of fundamental to mentoring, to a definition of mentoring, to activities that are part of mentoring. So how do you do them? And I think anything that we can help with in that respect will be very useful, I think. And while I was saying that, I was thinking, is there anything that me and Rabia did, or me and Janet did, that are generic? I think there are things that Sylvia's done that are generic. Don't know.
I'm trying to look for that in the document. Key insights. No. Dreams. Cannot find it. I should have looked before.
Because in a way, it's a bit of thinking about it. It's a bit these sort of generic activities, generic mentoring activities, a bit could be like a kind of a part of a conclusion to the companion, that we've thought about mentoring, we've done mentoring, all right, and these are
how to how to get started.
Yeah, exactly.
Page
Yeah.
35. Page 35. What would be absolutely necessary to make things happen? And there, I wrote just a text, a short text, with tools such as needs analysis questionnaires, action plans, reflective journals, meeting agendas. Maybe we need to expand on this. Yes.
Brilliant. All right. So you've got 5 or 6 there of kind of activity types.
And then techniques. Tools are tools and techniques. But it's it's a short text answering what would be absolutely necessary to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Needs action plans, reflective journals, meeting agendas. Then there is an explanation of what each means, but very short. And then the tools are only effective when they are used within a dialogic and non-judgmental relationship. For this reason, mentors also need techniques: active listening, open and exploratory questioning, constructive feedback, politeness strategies, ability to balance directive and dialogic moves. This is like concise. If you want, we can expand on this and explain what the needs analysis is, and an example, what an action plan is, and an example.
Or to refer back to the case studies, if this section comes after the case studies. Mm-hmm. You can use those. You can use the examples of the case studies.
I think so, and I think it's very important, because I think it's frustrating, isn't it? When I found this. I find it so much now, but I found this very frustrating when you want some advice about how to do something. That's great, but you actually want the thing itself, and you can't find it. And you're thinking, why am I? Okay, so everybody's saying, yeah, it's good. You've got to analyze needs. Well, how do I do that? Can you just give me an example? Give me something I can use.
Yeah,
that side of things.
Tell me how to get started, and then I'll find my own way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as long as we're pretty clear about it's generic, it's got to be context specific. You've got to adapt it, customize it. You've got to think about using it.
You have to take.
So it boils down to getting everything out from the case studies, because the case studies are themselves guides as to what to do. Because, I mean, just by replicating each case study, the reader can get a start. But it would also be very good for us as a group, and it would, I think, add to the consensus of the whole thing and the strength, therefore, to find these common elements in all the case studies, and very fitting to include it at the end and as a sort of, rounding off. I think that's very neat.
I think so. I think so, and that what Sylvia is showing at the moment, I think, is is a really great list of stuff. Absolutely brilliant. So we can have a look, as you quite rightly say, Sylvia, at what we actually did during the mentoring each other phase, and then actually put some examples in.
Yeah.
So show me a needs analysis, show me an action plan, show me a reflective diary. Tell me the difference between constructive feedback. Show me some examples of constructive feedback compared to destructive feedback. That at the end of it, I think we'll have said, okay, so this is what we think, this is what we did, this is what you can do, maybe as a way of kind of completing that journey, if you like, through thinking.
Yes, and then I was, now as I was reading what Sylvia wrote here, which is brilliant, I was thinking that maybe we can also generate a visual aid, like an image that puts together these aspects and how they relate to each other. I don't know, just thinking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like a little map, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have examples of all these tools because we used them with Jerusa and Graham, and then, I mean, the rest can include their own examples. I mean.
Okay. So we've got kind of, I think then, for the second section, the mentoring each other phase, we've got three things to do. The first is to get Nelson and Shirin on board and get their structured reflections. Then we've got some kind of introduction to write for this section, which, what's the word? Prepares the reader.
Yes.
And then the third thing is that to expand on with some real examples from, as you said, from Mentoring Jerusa, this section that Sylvia has written.
Okay.
That is the getting started. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, I can do this. I mean, whoever wants to join me, it's fine. And I suggest a structure then. I will be in charge of this. Now, what about these things that we included here? Do we have a structure? I mean, because the question was, how did our experience, and I mean, I used the question and I just answered. But if we have a new structure, I can expand on this.
Sylvia, John and I also had the same questions answered in the reflection, but it's not written as like this. But what I've learned, I've also written do's and don'ts and how it has changed my perception of mentoring. John has written the same. So whatever structure everybody decides on, we can put it there as well. But again, it can be different as well because people are different. The way they structure their thoughts is different. So if somebody wants to write in another way as well, we can let them do that also, but we can just say, okay, make sure that you mention all of these things, and then they can write it in any way that they want. Because I think too much of similarity makes it boring for people to read as well.
Okay.
So if there is a variety, people enjoy reading, oh, that's a different perspective. So, and there's a different angle also. So maybe people can come up with more than we're asking them for if we give them the freedom.
I agree, Rabia, and because we also said at some point that this is a very tailor-made kind of relationship. And so if we structure the contributions too much, then it might look like there's only one way of going about it.
Okay, so we just
Yes.
have this question and we write an answer to this question. That's all. Then.
Yeah, I think we've got a big overarching structure for a case study, which is, what what do you think as a mentor? What do you think as a mentee? And, what's common, what's synthetic to both of those that's worth picking out. I think we've got that big overarching structure. But no, I'm with Rabia absolutely on this, that however you want to frame your reflections as a mentee or reflections as a mentor, that's fine, whatever. So you look at it from the perspective of the reader, as long as it's clear. Okay, so this is coming from the mentee, this is coming from the mentor, and this is, synthesis. I think that will be sufficient standardization.
Yes, because if it's the same, people like me would start comparing. Okay, this person wrote this and this person wrote this person was more effective and this person was not. So if it's different, we will not have that kind of thing going on in the back of our minds. Okay, so this one did this or this one wrote it better than the others. So it's not a comparison. It's everybody's, like it's an art, and everybody is putting in a different thing, and we can appreciate what everybody wrote instead of comparing that are they filling in all of the boxes or not. That is just my idea. Like what if I'm reading, I would like surprises. I would like something new. If I've read something, I'd like to read something new now.
Yeah, but at this section there should be a conclusion, and I think that once we have included all our case studies, we need to go back
Yes.
and
A
find.
collective, yes.
Yeah,
Something that says that, yes, I think all of us have written our conclusions. So maybe we can put them into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize the main points. As a community, these are the things that we think are good for mentoring as a result of our experience.
I think that, for example, the do's and don'ts could come out of this synthesis. Say, now that we have all these case studies, as a mentor, do this, don't do that, right?
Yes,
I like that chart. I saw that chart in your document, but I would have it at the end of, say, probably as a reader, I will read the introduction, I will read the conclusion, and then I will pick on one or two case studies, because probably in the conclusion we can have the case study that actually where there is actually an example of this or that, right? For example, don't do this, and there you have Jerusa's Jerusa's case. I don't know.
good example. Good
Then I go
example.
to Jerusalem and say, what, give me an example. Let's see. Okay, I don't do this. Don't penalize. All right. Ah, yes, here it is. I mean, as a reader, I'm thinking of the role of the reader and the way the reader will approach this.
A good example of this might be something that something that is common to all of the case studies or most of the case studies. So one from my experience working with Janet and Rabia, there is one very common, many common things, but one that comes to mind in particular, which is about the importance in mentoring of looking at the real world, looking at real examples. So with, Janet was trying to help me become a better e-moderator. So she showed me e-moderation, real-time e-moderation with a group of Senegalese, unfortunately, who lost 3-1 to France. So that didn't help much with the football, but it helped me with my mentoring. And with Rabia, we looked at responding to an expression of interest for a job in Algeria, who lost 3-0 to Argentina, of course. So that didn't help them much either. But so we've thought about mentoring, we've done mentoring, we've reflected on mentoring, and right at the end we're saying, look, and here are some of the tools, and here are some of our conclusions, and here are some of the tools. So in your list of do's and don'ts, Sylvia, that is, stick to reality. Take something which is ongoing if you can.
We used Jerusa's PowerPoint presentation for her workshop to start off, right? So, I mean, we couldn't do anything but that. I mean, we needed to start from the real thing to be able to improve her skills as a workshop planner.
Yeah. A good anchor that would be that was.
Also.
Mhm.
But Sharon also, she was acting as a QA. What was QA in training? And so I was mentoring her with that also. So I think with all of us, that is the common theme, that we started with something very, very real, something that they can actually go and apply, and we can test that whether it's working or not.
Mhm.
And it kind of, sorry.
No, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, it kind of, we've been thinking about how does mentoring compare and contrast with other kinds of learning. So if you take that, just that one example of being in the real world, one of the issues, it seems to me, or not issues, but one of the differences, it seems to me, about mentoring compared to teaching or training is that you're helping somebody work through a real kind of example and situation. Whereas when you're training a teacher, if you can imagine that you're in a workshop, you're out of context, aren't you? And you're all in a big group together. So everybody's context is a little bit different. Everybody's got different needs, different understanding. So you tend to kind of, you're working with something hypothetical or pitching it to a mass or something. Whereas mentoring, you can take something that you did in a real situation and give feedback on it, kind of thing. Whereas you take people out for training purposes, you lose some of that.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking of the wording of do's and don'ts, and because mentoring is not so prescriptive. So do we want to sound so prescriptive for the section? I agree what needs to go into the section. I'm not so sure about making it rather prescriptive. It's
well, then you can make it like more tentative. It's a good idea to.
No. I mean, even if it is a bulleted list, even I wouldn't call it as do's and don'ts. It's the do and don't that sounds a little bit more prescriptive.
Okay.
Like a good starting point. A good starting point would consider pa, and then that. It's the same thing.
Things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Instead things to keep in mind.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a really good point. I think we want to be clear. I think we want to be clear in the content because we want to be able to say do this and don't do that. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to. We want to give our opinion about what effective mentoring consists of, in the same way as if we were training a teacher, we'd say, "Yeah, don't hit children. That's not a good idea." Yeah, but you're absolutely right. In the language that we use, we want it to be reflective of what we ourselves as a group have come to a conclusion around. That it's not, the same with the generic tools as well. It's look at our experience, and in our
Mhm.
experience, it's probably better to do this rather than that. That worked, that didn't work, that kind of thing. But use your judgment, be critical. Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
it's a really yes, a really really good point. And it is the list of do's and don'ts can appear a bit condescending, can't they? It's a bit like sticking to a particular model. Use this model, guaranteed success.
Mhm.
We're not saying that, are we? We're yeah, that's a pretty good point.
When I asked John about it also, do you remember? I said, should I remove it or not? Because I was also feeling like I'm prescribing, like, do this and
Hmm.
don't do that. But it was a kind of a summary of what I think happened with us because John was not telling me to do this, this, this. So I wrote, okay, these are the things we didn't do. So it was like the things we did and things we didn't do. So, but I rephrase it. Any other, it's shared. Anybody can write. It's in our folder. So if you have any comments, if you want to change the terminology, we'll be more than happy
Yeah,
to we can.
did you include the link in the companion, the link to this document? Because I included the links to my documents. Maybe
Okay, I haven't added anything into the companion so far, but I put it in our How to Mentor participant folder in the folder reflections.
Mhm.
So wherever you want to, we can put it, or tell me where to put it.
uh,
I'll
I
paste the
think
link.
we should be including things in the companion so that when I tell Nelson now go to the companion and take a look at what is there already, and please write the answer to this question so that he can
What
see.
section? What section can you tell me? I'll go there and just paste it. So, okay, it's synthesis, insights from thinking about and doing mentoring, conclusion there or somewhere else.
No, in the second section, the whole section which deals with the
Doing
case study.
mentoring. Okay, okay.
Companion, no, what? I cannot find it now. I had it there, but no. No.
Okay. So just to, just a few questions, if we can, on the survey, because we're pretty confident, uh, that it's fine. So the question was we've answered, which was to do with the instructions about completing it. So we're saying a couple of weeks, and what are we going to say to the people in order to the members of this group to persuade them to spend quite a bit of time completing the survey because we want everybody if we can. And we've got two things. One is that it's a great summary. It's another way of reviewing and thinking about what we've done together as a group. One, and two, we would like to represent everybody's opinion, a consensus. So we need to understand what it is that you think now and what you believe. So there are kind of two things to stress, and they're in the introduction to the survey. Um, is there anything else that you think would be persuasive?
Shall I share the screen, John,
Yeah.
for the survey? Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
So this is where you've written that it will take a good chunk of time. Okay.
I think we should tell them how long it will take. No,
Okay.
no longer than or about 10 minutes or
Or more. That's the issue. Because if you want to do it properly, it would take an hour.
Okay.
It's not. You got to work through it. Got to give answers that you've thought about. And, you know, some sections are quick, but
let's have a look how long it is, and you can see how much time it's going to take. So this one is just click. This is reading, and they have to pick one. Might take 3 to 4 minutes if somebody reads very quickly.
Okay. What if we do it and we time ourselves, and then we add in the introduction no longer than an hour, or between 50 and 60 minutes.
yeah, we could say for lazy, unreflective people, it'll take a couple of minutes. But if you're serious, professional, then it take longer. And people can self-select as to which category they belong to.
Has it gone live, Rabia? Can we start completing it? Can we do that
Yes.
to time ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, then
Sorry,
let's do that. That's a good suggestion. Then, so if yeah, if you've got time and a cup of tea, have a
Okay.
go and see how long it takes, and
Yeah,
then yeah,
I will do that sometime today so that we have
perfect.
an idea.
I'm still keen on this question about, is there anything else that would persuade, to encourage people to complete it?
Well, once you said you were interested in being part of this community.
Yeah. Okay. So why not? Let's. Yeah. You put your hands up.
Yeah.
That I want to be part of this community. Okay. So be part of it, kind of thing.
Be
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we need you.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there's something in there about everybody volunteered to join the group. So you know
I mentioned something here as we shape the collective voice of our community. Maybe add something more to make them more responsible of giving us a collective voice. Okay, I've shared the link in the chat. Can you guys see if it works? And is it a responders link, or have I sent you the collaborators link?
Let's see. No, I think I got the respondent. Yes.
Okay.
I will.
And I need help with, we have to choose only 8. I have done this one, but for others, because we have too many, how are we going to say that they only select 10 out of different options, because I couldn't put them together. Or if I can, but they will not be like this heading. This would also come as a checklist. Somebody will have to count themselves that they have 8. Ten for this one. John, I made them into 2. The one I add, it adds a lot of value and brings a lot of benefits. They are a little bit similar, but I wanted to give them, think about, is it increasing value in their work, or is it saving their time and all that? So it's a benefit also. So that's why I put them separate. But if you want to, I'll just make them 4 also.
it kind of sound like the same thing to me.
For to me, it would be like it adds value to the work that I'm doing. So my ideas with more ideas, but when it brings a lot of benefits, would be that I can save a little bit of time. I don't have to do more work. So for me, value to my work and benefit to me.
Uh,
That is also benefit to my work, but personal benefit also.
What I might not agree is with that a lot of. Maybe it adds value. It's
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
And then it brings a
a
lot
lot
of
of
benefits. Yeah,
benefits.
I kind of think that value and benefits are
Okay.
pretty much the same thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
so
had written as a slash, but because I had to write five, so I made them into two. And I was
you've
trying
got
to
to have five,
justify
have
why
you?
I did that. So it adds value,
Yeah, not
and
a,
then
and then it
okay,
a lot of benefits.
okay. I'll modify because I've done it in Word, then I copied it here. I'll edit and then take a snapshot and then I'll add it here. Okay.
What these hearts there? You just click on a
If it
heart, do
is
you?
like, yes, if I click on number 4, it means this.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I
got
think it's dangerous. If I click on number 5, it means I haven't decided yet. So these are the hearts. It could be these also, if you like. It could be thumbs up also. It could be a star also, whatever you like.
it.
So because it was about feelings, how I
Okay.
feel, so I
Brilliant.
had those hearts.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I was just looking at your email that you sent, Rabia. So all of everything, you've dealt with everything then, and
Yes.
yeah, okay, perfect.
The only thing that I need somebody's help with is if you know how to, this says, which of the following are the most important for a mentor? Select only 10. And because I wanted to give headings, I have added like this checklist with different segments. So this is like, I will select, let me open the, sorry.
But if you go to the chat box, let's see. It,
Just 1 second. Okay, I have added a limit to this, John. So must select exactly 8 options. I can do that with this one. So it will not let me move until I've selected 8. So now next, this is a required answer. Okay. I've added options where they have to write, they cannot go without filling that also. Now for this one, everyone, I can only have like this is, if I put them all in a list, this will also have a checklist then.
Mm.
I cannot add that without a checklist. In order for somebody to know that these are different, I put them into separate sections. It's one question but separate sections. I'll have to limit, okay, 3 from here, 3 from here, 1 from here, 2 from here, in order for somebody to have that limit. If you have any
Okay, then
ideas
what?
how.
and what if you say select at least not more than 3 or per section? Or...
I can do that. I can do that also. Exact also, not more than that also. Let me know what you think is better, and I'll. Do you think giving a limit for each is okay?
I
Not
think
more than 3.
I think
Not
it's
more than
better
3. But
separately
John wanted to know which one people value more.
out of all of them.
Yeah, because
Yes.
probably some people think that there's more to the cognitive activities than the social or the emotional. So if we limit the amount of responses per section, it might not capture this aspect.
Yeah. So I think the if you can't actually technically limit the number, we'll just have to trust people to choose 10.
Or what I can do is I can put this heading in the first option for that and try to include
Yeah, probably in the title I would write, which of the following are most important for a mentor? Select only 10 across all sections. Because if not, they will choose 10 per section.
Mm-hmm.
And John, you had written rank also. Ranking was not possible here at all. So
Okay,
we
so let's,
might
yeah.
Okay, so then we have to leave out ranking. Select probably not more than 10, not only. Select not more, because maybe they want to choose fewer.
there is no way I can bold this one if I put it here. And if I put it here, people will think that that is one of the options also, not a collection.
Yeah, so let's just trust people to if we put no more than 10, it doesn't really matter anyway.
Okay. Okay. Everything is there. I've added the
Why,
definition of
why would 10 be the number?
I think just to have a top 10.
Now, if we want to know which of these big sections they consider most important, maybe first we can ask them to rank them, and then we can ask them within each section which items they would choose. Say, if we are interested in knowing whether the predominant is cognitive or transformative, maybe.
I'm not sure what ranking them would add to the general
or
perception of the conclusions.
Or the most important, or
I always find it a little bit difficult to make sense of multiple different rankings anyway. So if you, I know that Google will do it automatically, but if person A has got this order, person B has got a slightly different order, person C, never really know how to deal with that and what it means. I think with this, as it is without ranking, something will emerge, won't it? That we will know that 58% put personal experience of the mentee's job. Probably. I think Janet's going to suggest now that we do a follow-up with structured interviews.
I have something here. Really, this is a great survey, but section 3, Rabia, I don't know, you were sharing. It's a very long one, and you have to read a lot. I don't know if it is applicable, really. I know that it has a lot of things about mentoring. It's section 3, I think. Let me check. I was reading
This is the same. I've opened it.
Just add 3 longer definitions. So really, it leads to different websites reading about mentoring. So I don't know if it is possible. It's excellent, but
You're right, Janet. It is very long.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I'm doing this, I'm not going to read everything. So maybe just referring to, maybe it's optional, but still, if I'm doing this, I have to read or I have to click all the links. What do you think?
I think you can answer. You don't need to go go to this source, you can just click on what stands out
okay.
as being a good definition.
Mm.
But
And
you're
these are
right.
there if somebody wants to.
Mhm.
Yes, it's not
Probably
like
you
you're
can write
required to
that
be
in
there.
the instruction in the
Yeah.
yes, there are some links you can visit if you feel like
Yeah.
reading more, like, you know.
Mm.
I think the links are there to show the source, not to go and read them.
Mm. Okay.
You can say sources are mentioned.
Mm. Eight key character. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good point though, Jen. It just
No,
does seem very long, doesn't it?
yeah. The number 5, choose 8 only. Only 8.
What if I cannot choose 8? If I can only choose 6?
Exactly.
But you'll have
So
to leave the group.
Invalid,
You have to leave the group,
just like
Sylvia.
yeah.
just like the one you did before. So maximum 8 maybe, but they can choose 5, 6. So if you say
I can
right,
make it up to 8. I can make it up to 8.
exactly. That's yeah.
When I did it, when I answered this question, it's true exactly what you're saying, because I thought, I've only got 7. I'll add another one here. I don't really think it's absolutely key, but I need to do 8. So I think that's right.
I've written select at most 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they cannot select
And
more than 8.
maybe you need to change it at the top. Choose not more than not more than 8 instead of choose
At
8.
most 8 or not
At
more than
most
8.
8. Okay, at most 8. That's a good idea.
Because that's what the sentence down there says. Okay. So maybe let's.
Good.
Okay. I have to change this also, that they select one statement only. I'll
Select
see
exactly your options. Is it changing?
Just 1 second. I'll change it. I'll change it. I can't find the option right now, but I'll change it. Okay. Any other suggestions when you're doing it, please let us know. And whatever I would be able to do, I'll do that.
Okay then. So I think we've had a great, isn't it? Yeah. Well. So we've had a look at the survey, and we know what the next steps are. A quick crash test to decide how long it's going to take exactly, and any other minor issues. We've got 3 action points relating to the section 2 of the companion, about Sheeran and Nelson, getting them on board, doing an introduction to the section 2, big introduction, and then having a little look at generic tools and stuff that we think can be really helpful, as a kind of a way into a conclusion that's reflective of our reflections, reflective of good practice in some way. And are we meeting again on the 3rd of July?
Okay.
Yeah.
I maybe you mentioned it. I will be doing this tools and techniques section. Yes, it's okay.
and I'll have a look. I'll revisit the article in the companion a bit more, so that we're getting towards this stage of it's ready to accept now the results and analysis of the survey.
Yes, and next time we meet, can somebody teach us something new also about mentoring? Anyone?
What about generic tools?
Yes.
That would be great, actually. If in the course, Sylvia, of having a think about this section, if you've got like, a really good needs analysis or really good action plan, that kind of thing, to have a look at that in detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, yes. And I mean, there's this question of what I learned from Nelson. That is pretty interesting. This feedback thing, the strategies he taught me. Maybe I can share that, which was new to me. Yes, that's it.
Yes, and I think I can also, like in some future days when I have more mental bandwidth, I'll talk about what I learned from EOI and from a leadership discussion that John and I had, being a good communicator, how to persuade others. Because I have a problem of saying no. I have become better. Now I've started saying no, John. I've said no to a lot of people after that. So I've improved. So people don't like it now. People don't like me now.
You didn't need to go to the psychologist. I've been
I
treatment for so long.
I think that probably mentoring is not about becoming better, but it's about becoming more aware.
Yes, yes. I think this is what John and I talk about so much, that, we're becoming self-aware of who we are. And the thing about Janet, me, and John is we're born just one day apart. I think John is born on 17th January. Janet is born on 18th, and I'm born on 20th. So we are so alike also. We think like each other also. So like when I say something, John is like, yes, I do. Yes?
That's amazing. We need to find somebody then who was born on the 19th of January.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So it's like because last time I said something, John connected with it like that, but Anne did not connect with it. And like I never had that problem because I was like, I need more work. Now I'm not, I've worked so much during the past few months. Now I'm sorting all of my drawers because I'm so used to working. John connected with it. But and unless I'll just go and read a book, I don't have the impulse to work. So having a mentor who is on the same bandwidth and who understands the challenge, because they are alike in some way, also is also very helpful. I think a lot of people don't say that, but we need to see zodiac signs also before choosing a mentor.
Yeah, I think that's section 3, isn't it? Then the influence of the zodiac.
Well, then one of the do's would be ask your mentor when they were born.
That would be fun.
Okay, so
okay, then on that, sorry.
3rd of July then.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. On that highly academic note, then have a great weekend when it comes. Some very exciting football coming up.
Yeah.
It's Australia against the US tonight. That should be a good one.
Okay.
And on Monday,
Monday,
Argentina,
Austria.
Argentina, Austria.
Okay, 7-0 to Argentina.
No,
Messi
I'm not so
7.
sure because Austria did a very, very
No way.
good qualification round when they qualified from Europe. So I think, we should be careful about that.
It's going to be a tough match.
Yeah, I think so.
They beat Jordan 3-1, Austria.
Yeah, they did.
They did. So they've got the winning habit, but they didn't. It wasn't a convincing victory.
It's football, John. You cannot say that.
Whereas Messi, who is now 87 years old, is still running around. It's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
But you take the match between Spain and what was it, Cabo Verde?
Cape Verde.
Nobody would have predicted that. So,
No. No, I mean, it's such a bad advert for, there's people who are really interested in football and watching it, and they say, come on, come along, watch football match. And you watch Spain draw 0-0 with, I mean, that was terrible, terrible. But
no, terrible.
the
Okay.
big news, of course, is England beat Croatia 4-2, and that's the
Well,
main.
that was good, and they played very well. Yeah, yeah.
They played okay for about 15 minutes in the second half, but in the first half
That's enough. It's enough.
they were like schoolboys. It was terrible. Anyway,
Okay.
all right. Have a great weekend.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Have a
take
great
care.
weekend.
Great to see you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.